What's happening, YouTubers? It's your boy CB, and we are back for my favorite segment on the channel. Y'all know me, I love these huddle watch alongs with recruits. On today's episode, for you guys that like smash mouth football, for you guys that just like football players, I'm talking about that old school playing both ways, punt return, kick return, defense, offense. One of those guys that is the heart and soul of a football team. You have clicked on the right video, my friend. 2025, I'm going to call him an athlete. He does play inside linebacker and fullback, but I like to classify him as an athlete because of how much he does for Milton. Hayden Tumminia is one of my favorites to watch from last year. Quick story before I bring him on. I was watching their first game of the season last year, and me and my wife just kept looking at each other, go, who is number 10? Like, and that is how I discovered him. Watching to support Luke, I found Hayden, and I was like, he plays everywhere. And like I said, for those of you guys that love a linebacker that is a old school thumper, but still has the sideline to sideline speed and the athleticism to play in today's spread offense, this is your episode. Without further ado, one of the most versatile football players in his class, 2025 athlete Hayden Tumminia. How's it going, bro?
What's up? What's up?
So before we get into the highlights, before we get into talking about the projection for this season, I would like to rewind a little bit. And I want to start with a question that I asked one of your teammates, but I want to get your perspective on it as well. So those of us that follow Milton and those of you in the comments that watch Milton's fantastic run last year, you heard a moniker, the M versus them. It's something that it's plastered everywhere in the school, in the locker room. It's y'all's battle cry. When you hear the M versus them, what does that mean to you?
Okay, yeah. So we have a motto every year, and that was our motto last year, obviously. But the M versus M, or the M versus them, really means like it's us versus you. Basically, it's us versus the state, and that's
So for you guys, for people who don't know, because when you look at the roster, you look at the year, people are going, "Oh, well, it's an elite team." But going into the year, there were the doubters. There was the can they sustain the winning culture Milton has had? How was it at the end of the season on that field, confetti, screaming fans, to realize you and your brothers shut out all the noise, believed in that moniker, the M versus them, and y'all accomplished your goal, becoming state champions, and you're wearing the shirt today to prove it?
yeah. I mean, it's a surreal feeling. Like no one thought we could do it. Everyone thought we were second round exits, third round exits, then fourth round exits, then fifth round exits, and then we just kept on proving them wrong. I mean, it still feels surreal today, but we still have like that empty hole in our heart that like we can two-peat. We know we could two-peat.
I think that's cool about you guys because so I had Luke on and he said the same thing. I was like, "So is the mindset any different?" He was like, "I feel the same way I felt last year. I feel disrespected still." Like it's like the chip hasn't left. It's not like
Yeah.
when you guys got the ring, y'all were like, "Okay, now we're winners." It was like, I bet they don't think we could do it again. Like you guys, you guys set another goal almost in the fourth quarter of that game. There was a particular game I'd like to dive into. When I did your intro, I spoke about you being an athlete, you being versatile, but
Mm.
part of that is also you being one of the most selfless players I have watched. You being the middle linebacker on this team, one of the quarterbacks of the defense, and a true downhill thumper. Games are very physical for you. I'm sure you're very sore, very exhausted after games, but sometimes you're asked to do a little bit more. You guys had a game in the playoffs where your offense realized, I don't think they game plan for our quarterback to run. So you were asked to be Luke's lead blocker. I don't know how many carries. It seemed like about 30 and never wavered, still played every snap on defense. And you were his lead blocker for that game. That I feel like you and Luke turned the tide with that quarterback ISO, with that quarterback run. For you, in those moments, how much is that just Hayden being Hayden, where if they need you to block an edge, you're going to block an edge. If they need you to cover a tight end, you'll cover a tight end. That selflessness, Hayden, where does that come from?
Yeah, actually, most people don't know this about me, but sophomore year, I was in a uh, competition for the spot, and then a great linebacker, Will Parton, he's not a sophomore at Lehigh, played for Lehigh all freshman year. He was the starting middle linebacker, so I was supposed to trying to find my way in the field sophomore year, and I saw a little bit of linebacker time, but where I mostly like ate was on the offensive side of the ball, being the tight end, kind of like the hammer downhill, like a linebacker almost. But Stevie Jackson, he's a really good OC. You know, he's gonna get me to block the most dangerous guy and all that, and have the running back run behind me. So, I mean, anything he asks me to do, I'll do it for him.
How was that game for you? That Colquitt game? Because you guys were down, I believe, at halftime, correct?
Yeah. So I think if I believe it or not, first drive we got the ball. I think we threw a pick. They scored immediately. You know, off of like a screenplay, and they got the 2 point conversion. Scored again. And then after that, we like kind of like, well, it was a wake up call. We're like, okay, we're gonna flip the switch on, and I think we caught like a deep ball or something to get us back in that game.
What was that halftime like for a guy like you who when maybe a freshman or a sophomore is looking at, okay, we're down in the playoffs, maybe they were right, maybe we don't belong. When you go into that halftime as a leader, what's your message to your guys knowing this has been us all season and it's not going to be any different? We're going to come out and fight.
I mean, we really weren't phased by it. Like halftime, you know, it was silent. We were getting our halftime snacks, all that, and we were just like, we kind of knew. Like we by then it was like 21-14, something like that, and like we knew they weren't the better team than us. So we just weren't really phased. Just we got ball. So I mean, the rest was history after that.
I'm really glad you guys have composure because let me tell you what it was like on my side watching from home. It was very anxious, but that wasn't the first comeback you guys had. So I could see how when you guys go into the locker room, y'all looking at each other like, okay, we got 2 more quarters. We can continue to handle business and we can crawl out of this. I would like to switch gears real quick before we get into the films. I know people are like, I want to see him hit somebody. We're gonna get to that. One of the things I love to stress anytime I do these is you guys are not just athletes, you are student athletes. And I know sometimes at some schools in some areas that does not mean anything. To you, that clearly means something. Academic All American, just coming off of a junior day with Penn, speaking with Furman. These are some of the top academic colleges in the country. How important has the combined effort to be a true student athlete been for you along your journey?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like it's gonna be hard to keep your grades up, but you know, I fought through it, and now like it's just kind of like a recruiting tool for me. Like,
Yeah,
like having that 4.0 GPA, a lot more schools can look into me than I would have.
I love that too. That balance, I want to tap into that real quick. I don't think people quite understand that, Hayden, how much you guys sacrifice
Mhm.
to be great. It's not just practicing with Milton. It's the work you do after. It's the work you do on the weekends. It's working out with your boys. It's 7-on-7. We see you on the circuit. It's Battle Miami. You were down here for that. It's all the other things that you have to do that make it hard to consistently keep that 4.0. But that dedication, that goes beyond football, and that clearly started before football.
Mhm.
Where does that dedication come from?
I mean, I feel like it's just from like people push me from a young age. Like my dad was my head coach from just like a kindergartner to eighth
Ah.
grader. So like, I mean, obviously you don't want to be that kid's coach to where like you know he's worse than other kids and playing. So he always pushed me to be my best self and like to make sure I was the better kid on the field.
Oh, it makes sense now. I'm a coach's kid, so it makes
Yeah,
complete sense now.
yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't like it. You don't like it, but like,
Oh my gosh. One summer in AAU, my dad purposely did not start me to start the season just to prove a point to the rest of the
yeah,
roster,
I
even
remember.
though I was I was supposed to start. It was just his. Well, he'll earn it twice. This way, no one will, say it drove me
Yeah,
crazy because I was like 15. But as I got older, I was like, okay, I understand what he was doing. He also instilled in me that anytime you think you're at your limit, you're not. I'm gonna request more of you. And then when you give it to me, it's like, see, I told you
yeah,
you can do a little bit extra. Football teaches us those life lessons that we carry on, and that's something that I think is beautiful about our sport. Like when you go into any other aspect of life, you're going to be able to rely on your leadership, your ability to give one more rep. My head coach used to always say one more rep, and he used to tell me that that's going to carry over into life. And I was like, how does that make any sense? And then I joined the workforce. And when you work a 10-hour day and they want you for 2 more hours, you just tell yourself, it's just one more rep. It's no different than him saying, one more gasser. And you're like, I thought you said 10, but you still have to find it. And I love that you focus not just on the game, but on the entire recruiting process being your school as well. But for those of y'all that are like, okay, I know he's smart because I see him hit people, but I want to see him hit people more. The leading tackler on your team as well. Do you get tired during games? Because your snap count is insane.
Yeah, I mean, sophomore year, I got a little tired throughout the game, but I kind of adjusted. I'm fine with it now.
What I love too, when you watch your film and when you watch you play, not just the film, when you watch Milton, you show up on film everywhere, Hayden. Now we're blocking a punt here. Have you just always been that kind of scrappy, whatever it takes to get done? I don't care if I'm the star linebacker. I'll be on the punt block team. I'll create the wedge for the kickoff team. Have you always just been that guy where it's I'll play every down if Coach Reeves allows me?
Yeah, yeah, basically, like in the Grace game, if you pull that up, I was trying to jump over blockers to like protectors to try to get the pump block.
I love that effort, man. I absolutely love that effort. And when we talk about effort too, your defense, y'all fly, absolutely fly. And it's almost like you guys fly because y'all are worried someone else is going to get the tackle. Speak
Yeah.
to that brotherhood you guys have on that defense and had last year on this state championship defense.
Yeah, I mean, you see the guy right next to me, AJ. We were always neck and neck for that leading tackler, and he would have it one week, I'd have it the next. So we would talk a lot of smack to each other, be like, "Yeah, I'm the leading tackler." So that was fun competition between us. But yeah, just push us to be better.
How much do you feel like playing more H back, playing more fullback your sophomore year helped you become a linebacker that can diagnose a play like this, not get caught in the wash, shoot the gap, and make a sure tackle?
Yeah, I mean, with playing both sides of the ball, I know like some coaches say this also. Like, once you play one side of the ball, you get a better understanding it from another side of the ball. So like, I know that like they can only have one guy on the line, one receiver on the line, and if another one is, then they're covered up. Or like, if a sniffer's coming back, he's probably coming back because the ball's coming to him. Like that makes you have a better understanding of the game.
And then here, you as a pass rusher is something I want to see a lot more this year. I want
Yeah.
to see a lot more 10 blitzing. When you get this call, there is a play in here, and you know what I'm talking about. And I don't think it's this one. But how excited do you get when your number is called and you get to go hunt?
Yeah, I mean, on the blitz I do like, it's like our lineman has picked it up because like I know it, and I'm mad that our lineman picked it up because like that's my thing to do. But I mean, I just like get a grin whenever my name's called on that blitz, and I feel like that's one of the specialties that people like don't really know much about.
You feel like that the athleticism, because when you look at a linebacker like you on paper, and if I show somebody a picture, they would say, "Oh, he's probably a downhill guy, old school 4-3 middle linebacker." But the sideline to sideline speed, the quickness, the agility goes way underrated when you watch your game. You shoot these gaps like a missile. You
Mhm.
feel like that goes underrated because of when people think inside linebacker, they traditionally just think thumper.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that was my blitz actually right there that I like. But I mean, yeah, I feel like when people look at me, they're just like, "Oh, he's just a typical old school linebacker." But like with the training I'm doing, like the change of direction, all that stuff that I'm doing at my training facilities, I feel like it's something that like should be rated and not underrated. And I feel kind of disrespected that it's underrated. First of all,
I was gonna say it's slightly disrespectful because when you do watch the film, they ask you to do so much that narrative doesn't really make sense with how much Milton asks you to do. And something you said there is important with the training you're doing outside of football, outside of Milton. Dive into that real quick. Let us know what's that training like, and who's helping you be a well-rounded linebacker that we get to see when we watch your film.
yeah, okay. So Dustin Moore with More Sports Performance, he really helped me get right. change the direction. We're banded up all training session. Right now we're doing 2 hours, two a week, an hour in the weight room, hours speed, agility, that type of things. And then on the weekends, I'll go to Next Level Backers, which it's more of like the mind. Like we'll watch we'll watch film for an hour, and then we'll be on the field, trying to perfect what we watch on film for an hour. So I feel like those two people really helped me excel in my game this year.
You just gave me the perfect lead into my next question, because when you watch a play like this, you diagnosing, you figuring out this play tells me two things. One, you're a student of the game, but that also comes with studying. How much is film study a big part of your game? Because you see here, first thought is all right. Then it's nope. I got this back out the backfield. I know this is coming because I've seen this play 700 times this week. How much is film study a big part of your game?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously a really big part. Like coaches can't stress it enough that like you've got to watch film. But like in that play, we knew that they were running power to that side with the sniffer all game long. So I take that step like because I'm kind of fast flow right there. AJ's replacing my spot almost, and then I see him leak out a little bit. So I'll stay at 5 and then come down and hit him once the ball's thrown.
This ability and coverage, dude. Another thing that I feel like needs to be highlighted more about your game. Again, I think that goes back to that versatility, that your athleticism. That all right, I'll play some tight end. You probably can see the game in a different way that other linebackers just haven't. They haven't been on the other side of the line of scrimmage. They didn't have their hand in the dirt. I think that versatility has helped you become the football player you've become. But I want to ask you, if you had your choice, what's a more enjoyable play for you? Your signature blitz, where you get a sack on a quarterback, or blowing up a running back in the hole?
I mean, probably the blitz. The sack's the more like the more statistical thing, but yeah, I mean, I'd love to do both, obviously, but I think my blitz, I like that the best.
And this is that Colquitt game here. How excited do you get when you see Colquitt on your schedule in the playoffs? When you see some of these high level teams, and like I got to pack my lunch for today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, South Georgia team, we knew both the running backs had 1,000 yards rushing, really disciplined line, most disciplined line we played all year. And that running back actually, texted me before the game. He's like, "Let's see what all the hype's about," which no one really knows. Tagged me on the story and everything. So like that, I feel like that put another fire to the flame for like me, Corey. So yeah.
So, what kind of player is Hayden when you're fired up like that? Playoff game, someone asked to see what the hype was about, and your ball. Let's say you got 12, 13, 14 tackles, half a sack, forced fumble. Are you more of a quiet player on the field, or is it time to start talking trash?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm more of like a quiet player on the field. Like I really don't talk trash until we win. I'm like not a type of player to, like really talk trash at all. I kind of controlled that like aggression almost just because it's gonna make me lash out. But yeah, I mean, it definitely was frustrating. So like after the game, I tagged him and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm the type of player to keep it quiet. So
But the competitive spirit is still there.
yeah,
It's
definitely. Yeah,
not. Yeah, it's one. I like that. It's like, yeah, I'll talk after, because that's when I can show the proof. I can go scoreboard.
yeah,
But beforehand, you can talk first, and then I'll just, I will prove myself.
yeah, yeah. Definitely,
So,
that's definitely the type of player I am.
but what's the sideline like? So there's a specific play you had in the state championship game. Here we go. No, this isn't it. So, what's the sideline like when Hayden blitzes up the middle, blasts the quarterback, and it's 3 and out? Your offense is about to go back. How hype is that Milton sideline when
Yeah,
you make a big hit?
a lot of like helmet slapping. Like I'll try to find my way into the tent. I'll have a headache after that. But yeah, I mean, I just love like celebrating with my boys and all that on the sideline. Whenever we get a turnover, honestly, I love celebrating with my boys.
What's crazy about that is, depending on how hard they hit you and how hard they're trying to celebrate, the offense might need you. Like, so
Yeah,
they may not have a chance to celebrate with you as much,
yeah, Yeah, definitely.
This play here, this discipline, dude. We all know read option is one of the hardest things to stop.
Mhm.
And we're going against Matter Day here. We're going against a top flight football team. How excited were you for this game?
I mean, I was really excited going into it. We knew they had like really amazing OC. We knew they had a really good running back, really good Russian quarterback. So, I mean, I was really excited going to that game just because it meant a lot of tackles, a lot of TFLs, all that type of stuff.
So they have a really good quarterback, but I want to spin it and talk about your offense, your quarterback too. You guys had an explosive offense last year that you had to deal with every day in practice. What are those practices like at Milton, Hayden? When I know Luke don't want to give you one, I know TJ don't want to fall backwards in the hole when you hit him. What are those practices like that we don't get to see?
Yeah, I mean, very, very, very physical. So, like, for instance, spring ball, we return mostly everyone. You know, we're talking trash to each other before the team period, and like, it's only thud, but like, you can't really thud when the running backs like keep on going. Like, you can't let them go because then it's gonna look like a break tackle. So you have to drive, and then what? Like, Stevie had to get in one of our players' faces today just because we hit him behind the line. We were kept on driving, and he got mad that we they blew the whistle and we kept going. But yeah, that's just mentality. Like always get someone on the ground.
Well, you can't really thud when the running back is a hoss. When it's TJ,
Yeah,
you kind of have to hit him.
yeah. I mean, he's pesky. Like he'll keep on running in the thud. So I don't want to look like I broke the tackle in front of all these coaches and all that. So we'll keep on going.
How much does that help you prepare for the games too? Because you got a physical runner like TJ, then you got Amari who's got more scoot, he's got more juice, literally what you guys call him. How much do those two running backs help you get prepared for when you do see a team like Matter Day that has a really good running game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we say it all the time. That's the best offense we're gonna face. Like Luke's gonna drop it right in the bucket every time. We have these receivers with 4.3, 4.4 speed, and like if we can compete with them, we can compete with anyone basically.
Yeah, I would imagine when it comes to Friday or Saturday, you guys just can't wait to hit somebody else, especially on defense. Y'all probably like, look, we can't even really hit him because we need him on Friday. You, though, I can hit you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's obviously a great feeling in those Fridays, but yeah, I mean, we're just fired up.
So, for someone that, like you said, nothing was handed to you, even your sophomore year, you had to try to find some extra snaps just to because you wanted to contribute to the team. Now, what I would call one of the heart and souls of this team, not just the defense, of the team as well. Your advice to other young football players out there, to the 2028, 2027 young man that's not ranked yet, who's thinking, are all the gassers worth it? Is all the lifting worth it? What would be your advice to that young freshman that's looking and thinking, I don't know if I'm not first on the depth chart yet. I could get there, but I don't know. You know how doubt works in young athletes. You clearly saw that doubt and was like, "No." So what would be your advice to a young athlete that looks at Hayden going, "Man, if I could only do what he was able to accomplish."
Yeah, I mean, all I can really say is like keep on pushing. Like I'm still the small kid. Everyone like does says I'm not fast and all that, but just keep on pushing. You'll find your way on that field.
I love that the thing is just keep going. You know what I mean? Like no matter
Yeah.
what it is. My dad always told me, prove yourself right. Like don't strive to prove other people wrong. That's a negative way of motivating yourself. Prove yourself right. You know what you can do. So just continue to prove yourself right. The reason I keep rewinding this is the energy we see after this. As a linebacker, as one of the quarterbacks of your defense, how important is it sometimes to be that motivator in the huddle?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's really important, especially as the linebackers. We try to get our guys hyped up every play. Like you saw a lot with Corey last year and all that, but definitely, it takes a lot of energy out of you. But like, it's something that needs to be done for us to fly around, like you said.
I love that too. And you guys also play with a lot of discipline, your linebackers too. Give a shout out to your linebacker coach because you guys are not just flying around with your heads on fire. You rarely miss tackles, rarely out of position, running to the football. It's a very disciplined defense as well. So give a shout out to that linebacker coach and your defensive coordinator as well.
Yeah, oh boy. When once Carletta gets on you, he's on you for the rest of practice. You better not mess up. Like I remember his having with me and AJ. We'll not drop deep enough. We'll not get in that dig window, and we'll actually not start anymore, and we'll have to earn our position back. And Willingham, he's the mastermind behind all this. Going into a 3-4, I didn't really think it was going to work at first, but obviously we trusted him when we were one of the top defenses in 2022, and then 2023 state championship, obviously.
Without even realizing it, do you feel like the 3-4 played more to y'all's strengths? Because now it's you and AJ in the middle. And obviously you guys think alike and can tell what the other is thinking. It's almost like he was like, no, I'm gonna give Milton two quarterbacks on defense now.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps us. Like, we still kind of walk down outside linebacker as like our fourth D lineman, kind of. But yeah, definitely it helps having another middle linebacker like vocally and give all the signs to everyone. So yeah, he's a really big help.
And I can't let you go without giving a proper shout out to AJ because it does feel like you two guys in tandem are almost like a quarterback and his star receiver, where
Mhm.
you guys, I would imagine there's probably certain shifts and things happen where y'all look at each other and you know exactly what the other's thinking. How that chemistry you guys have, speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, when I see him fly up to that TFL, I'm gonna be the first one on him, like, patting his helmet and, like, I'll being all up in his face, but I'm also gonna be the first one on him when he messes up. So, same with him, with me. So, I feel like that brotherhood also is a really big part of us.
You think that accountability is why y'all were able to look at losing 20 to 25 players from a team that and everyone was saying, "Oh, the dynasty." You think that accountability, you guys holding each other accountable, is why y'all were able to turn the M versus them into a state championship ring?
Yeah, definitely. Not many people try to argue with coaches. They'll say, "Yeah, I'm wrong. I'll fix it." Like under the film tent, like, "Yeah, I'm wrong. I'll fix it." Not really like talking back to coaches and all that, which you find with a lot of high school players.
The reason I like that too is the young guys watching you will go, "Oh, he didn't even argue. He held himself accountable and he kept moving." The reason I say that is there's a freshman, there's a sophomore that's looking at you and going, "I'm wearing 10 when he leaves. Like I'm going to be the next Hayden." How cool is that? Cuz going into your senior year, you probably, I know you remember when you were looking at someone else's number going, I want to be the next him. And now there's a freshman in that locker room doing the same thing. How how cool is that experience for you now being the veteran at Milton?
Yeah, I mean, definitely waiting 3 years. It's obviously like sur- surreal. Like I said, like I waited my turn and then I finally got it and like made the most out of it.
And I think that's good for the younger players to learn too, that especially nowadays when everyone thinks something has to be handed to them. You didn't just wait your turn. You made sure you were ready when it was time for your number to be called. Like you said, okay, I may not get the snaps at linebacker, but where can I help the team? Can I play
Hmm.
some tight end? Can I block punts? Can I play fullback? I think all that you didn't even realize that was making you a better linebacker. That was making you a better football player. So when they did say, "All right, 10, we need you," you were more ready than you even thought you were going to be.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like when I was playing tight end, I also played a little D line that year. I still like was memorizing the linebacker playbook so I could because I knew that was my home
This
and
is amazing. What is it about linebacker that's always felt natural to you?
I mean really that you can hit people like
Yeah,
legally.
I knew it. I knew somewhere in this answer was going to be, and I like to hit people.
Yeah, I mean definitely like I don't really like to fight out of school or any of that, but like to legally hit someone, that's what I like.
You know you're a linebacker, Hayden, because you use the term legally hit someone. That is only something linebackers say.
Mm,
There is not another position on the football field that is that eager to hit someone that they call it legally hitting someone. That's the kind of linebacker. I don't care what school you are. That's the kind of linebacker you want on your
mhm.
defense. So before I get you out of here, I got to ask you a question I ask everybody because for those that are watching, They only see the results. They only see the tackles. They see the sacks. They see 116 tackles, the state championship ring. But as we talked about earlier, they don't see the work. They don't see you waking up sore and still having to go. On those days when your body's tired, you didn't have to study for a test, so you was up till midnight, you're sore, you got to come on to a podcast with me, and your body tells you no when you wake up in the morning. What's that why that keeps you moving and keeps you motivated, even when your body sometimes tells you, Hayden, we need to sit down?
I mean, definitely always staying motivated for something. Like, obviously, like the word in the locker room is we're tube eating. Like, there's no other option. So just that emptiness in our stomachs, like I feel like what keeps us up and like motivated to lift or study or spring practice. I feel like that's what keeps us motivated.
The most dangerous team in the world is a team that's elite and does not know it. That is scary. That you guys walked into your locker room this year and was like, there's a hole in our stomach. And the rest of Georgia's like, what? We're not doubting you any. But I love that. I love that y'all's mentality was that's last year, right? We're not resting on last year. And I love that it's the leaders that's driving that. Because when you leave, like we spoke about earlier, when you leave, they'll be able to take that same blueprint. You know, they won't think, oh, well, we won 2 in a row, we're gonna win again. They'll think, no, well, when they won the first one, they put that ring in the drawer and showed up to work when it was time for spring ball. That's gonna continue to the next number 10 that's playing linebacker for Milton.
Yeah.
Bro, thank you so much for coming on. For those of y'all that don't know, this was supposed to be recorded yesterday, but I have had AC issues at the house. But I thank you so much for being patient. Hayden, after your senior year, when you accomplish all your goals, we're going to have you back on so we can watch that senior tape and we can watch you knock out a bunch of running backs and quarterbacks again. But until then, let them know where they can follow you on Instagram and Twitter so they can keep up with you. This is a recruit. Trust me, you're going to want to keep up with.
Yeah. So Instagram, Hayden Tumminia or Hayden underscore Tumminia, HAYDEN underscore TUMMINIA. Twitter, Hayden Tumminia. Uh, and yeah. And before we leave, I want to flip on that last play.
Which one?
State championship.
State. Oh, was that the sack? Because I was about to say we didn't
Yeah.
see the sack.
Yeah. I think it's first play.
Here we go. Did you know you were gonna get a free run on this like this?
So I mean, Terrence, he does a really great job, obviously. But like I knew like if it's not a delay blitz, but just delayed it a little bit. If you see a little hesitation before, I knew Terrence was going to take both of them because they weren't as disciplined of a line as Colquitt. So I knew that would give me the run through.
That's beautiful. So this whole time I'm thinking this was called a delayed blitz. This was not. So that's what I'm talking about. That high football IQ, that ability to diagnose in real time. So you're doing that in milliseconds.
Yeah.
You're doing that as he's doing his cadence. You're going much like Iron Man. You're looking at the field going, oh, he's going to take 2. If I delay this, he'll catch both of them and I got a clear lane. Boom. Oh, what was the sideline like after this?
So first of all, like he like pump faked, and I thought he threw the ball, and then like I was looking up to see if I like caused a fumble or something, and like I really didn't know what to do after that. But like after like the replay showed on like the mega cam or whatever, like the whole student section, the whole stadium was like, "Ooh!" And that's like was a surreal moment. I'll never forget that.
What I love about this too is, so my dad used to have a saying. He would say, "Act like you've been there." So I wasn't allowed to celebrate touchdowns or things like that because he always said, "Act like you've been there." This is a prime example of act like you've been there. This is a massive play in the state championship game, and our leader makes the play. No need to taunt him. No need to do any of that. But for the squad, this did feel like from home. It felt like a bit of a game, not a game-changing play, but a momentum shifting play. Did it feel like that in real time as well?
I mean, in real time, like I honestly didn't think I could hit him as hard. Like I didn't think I hit him as hard as I did. And then like I didn't really get a chance to catch the replay, but like I heard everyone. So like after that drive, we 3 and out of them. You know, it was like they took a delayed gain after that, and like I went back to the tape, and I'm like dang, like this is way harder than I thought. And actually, the funny thing is, I also work at a sports medicine place, and I actually work on his mom. So she's like, "You owe me an apology."
That the world is a lot smaller than we think. That's
Yeah,
hilarious. Yeah, this your favorite play from last year?
definitely. Like you
Oh,
can't put
100%.
anything over it.
So we know 116 tackles this year, right? Led the team. Do you have a goal this year? A tackle goal? Or is it just I got to beat whoever else is trying to get my team lead?
Definitely. I'm trying to this year. Like our inside linebacker coach, Coach Carletta, he set some goals for us, and I think I'm at. I think you need 125 to break the all-time record. So obviously that's my goal. Like I'll be up there with some pretty amazing guys who did some pretty amazing things. So I mean,
Let's
obviously
go.
that's the goal, and then I'm gonna also try to break some single season record, like the solo tackles and all that.
So the way I like to say it is you are going to. So after this season, when you have 130, because you're going to beat that record, there is no I might, you're going to beat that record. We're gonna come back on here, we're gonna hit record, and the first thing I'm gonna say is, I told you you could do it. I told you you could do it. No, maybe put the positive energy out there now. You're going to have the solo tackle record for Milton after this year, and you're gonna have the total tackle record for Milton. We're putting that in the atmosphere, and that is 100% going to happen.
Yes, sir.
Again, thank you so much for coming on. When you break that record, I'm gonna make the graphic this weekend. That's how confident I am in this. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to make this graphic. We're gonna come back on here and we're gonna celebrate another successful year.
Yes, sir. Can't wait to do it.
You guys go follow Hayden right now. And I will link his huddle down because I know y'all are thinking, I need to watch that play again. And what I love about Milton too is they break it down game by game. So during his senior season, if you're looking at a schedule, you're looking at highlights, you're going, they played them last week. They got so-and-so at running back. Oh, let's see how he did against them.
Yeah.
They break it down from game by game. So I'm going to link his huddle down there too, because I know y'all are going to go, all right, now I want to watch him this year. So I will make sure you guys can see that. They also stream a lot of Milton's games, and I will continue to tweet those out so you guys can support Milton this year as they try to repeat. You guys know you have my support. I wish you nothing but the best of health and 130 tackles this year.
Yep. And we're also coming
Enjoy-
down to your place on ESPN
yes.
versus American Heritage, and we're on ESPN
Yeah.
versus Buford. So we got a really big schedule.
That's going to be fun. That's
Yeah.
going to be fun. I cannot wait to see both of those matchups. Two of my favorite quarterbacks in the country. So I don't know what I'm doing there. I'll probably just have a Milton shirt on and like Dia's number on the back. I don't know. it's too many of y'all, but
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to. I'm excited just to see you guys hit the floor again because of some of the weapons you lost allows different people to step up. Tristan Payne gets to step up this year. And I think people are woefully underrating how good he is. So it's really exciting to see some of those new pieces and how it's going to fit this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Enjoy the rest of your night. Like, share, and subscribe. Go follow Hayden right now. If you're not following him and you text me or DM me during the season and say, oh, 10 hit somebody again, I'm going to tell I told you to follow him. Go follow him right now. We will be back next year after we witness Hayden break the single season tackle record. Like, share, and subscribe. We out.